It's the most oversaturated, worst asset class ever. New England was incredible. Nathan, Rachel, how was it today?
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Here's what we did. We went and hung out at Colin Yep and Benjamin Wong's third laundromat. They're actually closing another one this week on Wednesday. So proud of these guys. They are crushing it. That freaking laundromat is netting $12,500 a month. And the story of how they helped that seller save herself from bankruptcy and foreclosure, gave her a monthly payment, is so incredible. Dude, this is awesome. This is number 3?
Number 2.
Number 2, okay,
Number
cool.
3 is in Utah. Largest in Utah.
You're joking.
Regionally largest.
When are you closing that one?
Wednesday.
Can I go film there too?
Absolutely. This one apparently we acquired creatively. $2,000 to the seller only, and that's it.
Really?
Yes.
Hello, sir. Can I help you? Can I help you? You have some underwear you need to clean? Okay, so we have a laundromat here, and then dry cleaning
Dry
here.
cleaning right here.
Correct.
And we have
It's two for us. So
This is better than your Boston location by a long
Yes.
shot. It's just like 10 times bigger.
We actually took the dry clean from Boston store to here.
yeah, so I
In-house.
implemented. I made Boston a commercial client
Customer
for
for
national.
this store.
Oh, that's freaking amazing.
And overnight our revenue just bumped because of that.
Okay, so you guys got the laundromat and the dry cleaning in the same purchase?
Everything, yes.
Okay. What was the total purchase price?
The total purchase price was about $265K.
265.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the structure of the deal? Was it all cash? Was it
The-
creative?
It's 100% creative. Only $2K to seller.
Okay. What's the structure there?
The remaining actually all go toward operational reserve and pay off the debt. There's 2 main debt. One is good debt, one is bad debt.
Okay, so you basically bought it sub 2
Sub 2
times 2 debts.
Yes.
Okay.
So the good debt was SBA EIDL loan.
Okay.
Which is like 1 point something percent.
Okay.
We take it over. The balance was 120K.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of bad debt. The entirety of it is more like 130K.
Okay.
And we basically raised the money to pay it off because it's at 35% interest rate
Okay, so you guys brought in some PMLs
from the communities.
from sub 2 community?
PMP.
Okay. So you brought in PMPs?
Yes, PMP's
Love it.
money.
Love that.
33 capital partners.
33 capital
Okay.
partners.
Are you kidding me?
Pay off the bad debt.
Good job, guys. Did
And-
you guys use fractional for this?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Isn't fractional so good?
it's so good. And
Shout out to Stella Hahn.
Stella, yes. And
Okay, so you guys buy 265. You take over 2 debts, sub 2, but you decided the bad debt was too expensive because the interest on that 130 was 30%.
35%.
Oh my gosh.
There are credit card and it's on daily payment.
Oh my gosh.
The business open to serve the bank.
Wow.
And the moment we pay it off, we bring back about 11,000 of basically the payments become our profit.
Okay, cool. So you guys restructured this 130K.
Yes.
And you made it so 11,000 a month is a difference?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Okay, so you saved 11K.
Yep.
What's interesting about this is that the seller didn't have access to the PMPs like you guys did and didn't have access to creative deal structure.
Yep.
Because they would have just done the same thing. Imagine if the seller had access to those 33 capital partners. They would have just refinanced out the bad debt at what's your PMPs are profit share or what?
Profit share.
Wow. Okay,
And-
so they just get distributions quarterly or what?
They'll get quarter distribution starting from 15 months. We give
Wow.
ourselves 12 months to stabilize. And this was the business I was telling you about that the seller was 67 days away from filing bankruptcy.
Oh my gosh.
And we saved by 16 days.
265. I get this because that ends up being about 250.
Yep.
Did the seller got 2K in their pocket
Only 2K. Yeah.
and then walked away?
Yes.
What's
she's now working for us. And we pay her because she has a vehicle that she's on payment. We want to make sure that she still have income to pay that.
Okay, so
vehicle.
what does she do?
She basically just come in,
She helps us to manage the store a little bit. Helps us to collect the cash and helps us to pay the staff.
Okay, how did we find this deal?
So it was actually from one of our vendor in Boston store, who I have been building connection with, and I told him to treat us like a special tool in our tool belt. Sounds familiar?
Yep.
And then she called me one day and told me that, hey, I have a great friend. I know her for many decades, and she lost her husband about 10 years ago. Since then, she has been upset and depressed, and he asked me to come and check out with her.
Wow. Wow,
And then when I
guys.
came in, I realized that they were
Wow.
struggling with the daily payment.
Wow.
This laundromat has been in place for 50 years,
50 years, half a century.
half a century.
She built this up when she was 17, 18 years old with her husband. And her husband passed
She wasn't in this location for 50 years.
this location.
You're lying.
No, this is the place people go to in this community.
I mean, look at it right now, and it's only half day.
This is freaking buzzing, dude. This is freaking crazy. So, what's the show you guys are gonna watch?
All right, I'm gonna go dump this in the car. I'll be right back.
Is it the new one? Are you kidding me?
We're watching SpongeBob now too.
You SpongeBob?
Are we really? If you wanted to do more co-living in sub 2, all you have to do is go, hey guys, I already have 6 co-living properties. I want 6 more in the Phoenix area. You will have 50 wholesalers bringing you 30 deals a freaking day. You will be so overwhelmed. Then, do you think she would have unlimited private money investors in sub 2 as well? Okay, these guys just raised $1.5 million in a couple of weeks inside of sub 2. Everybody's from sub 2. Are we an education platform? Or are we a community of people doing deals? Dallas or Phoenix is where I would double down on my co-living, and I would stop doing co-living here in Massachusetts if you want to scale physically. Now, somebody else is going to listen to this advice in Massachusetts or in this New Hampshire area, and they go, wait, I was going to go do this area, and Pace just said to her to not do it. No, she's already got 6. She already has 40 doors. She wants to go scale. So if you guys are just starting out, you should do 2 or 3 in your own backyard before you go pick up a market to go scale it. Can I talk about that for just a minute? So what she's saying is she's worried about the regulation with having too many unrelated people in one house. So it's actually the opposite of happening. Let's talk about why Airbnb blew up, okay? Airbnb blew up because short form content blew up online. There's a direct correlation with Airbnb growth and short form content growing. Why? Because people that are tax advisors started saying, hey, if you're a W-2 employee, you know how you can avoid paying federal income tax? Get an Airbnb. It's the Airbnb loophole. Okay? And so what happened is everybody started attending Airbnb seminars because they're like, as a W-2 person, I'm giving all my money to the freaking government. If I just bought a couple of Airbnbs, I could wipe out my W-2 income. Make sense? It's the most oversaturated, worst asset class ever. And when the economy goes down, what happens to Airbnbs? It gets cut in half, right? People start going to cheap hotels or they start rooming together or whatever else. We are in an upmarket or down economy, up or down. We're in a down or a plateau depending on where you're at, right? So Airbnb is not a good market for that. If you look at Denver, Denver just removed the limitation in the entire county for unrelated people in households. It's removed. Sacramento, California just came out with grants to improve the co-living space, saying if you bring more co-living properties to our city, we will give you a government grant. Have you ever seen a single Airbnb grant? No. So it's actually the opposite. Phoenix, Arizona just released, there's like multiple zip codes in the Phoenix market that are removing the unrelated people rule. Those rules existed before co-living was a thing. They're currently being dismantled based on the fact that now local municipalities are saying, holy moly, this co-living thing could actually save our housing shortage. We need to remove the regulation. So the regulation of six or more did not come into existence because of co-living. It was there before co-living, and now they are starting to remove it in municipalities. It's the opposite issue with Airbnb. But one of my things is there ain't no way I'm touching a single thing in my life. And if I have to go find a market where there's not management already in place, I'm not gonna go there. So I see a lot of people in the sub-2 community going, well, I'll go manage it myself on co-living. I'm like, cool, that's not my personality. I go to padsplit.com, I look at the areas where they have the most houses, and that's where I go and buy. Why? Because they have the most success stories. Here's my example. If I go to my rep in PadSplit, a sub-2 member just sent me a deal in Phoenix, Arizona, Gordon. I don't even have to underwrite the house. I go to my rep in PadSplit and I go, hey, here's the address, here's the details, what do you think? And they go analyze based on all of their metrics and all of their software, and they go, this is a great deal, lock it up right now, or Pace, this is not a great deal because the public, blah, 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 blah. People don't like PadSplit for one of two reasons. One, they're not in their area. Two, they don't like that PadSplit charges even a red cent. They're pissed off that anybody charges them anything for anything, so they try and self-manage. I just want to go to PadSplit, let PadSplit do all my management. So for you, I would go to the markets that PadSplit is dominating in. Number one market they're dominating in is in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, amazing market. And I would just go to I'd go to Abraham Gray, or I would go to Eddie Charger. I would go to Pat. Pat is freaking amazing. Pat's in sub-2. Tracy Gunn can introduce you to Pat. Pat does all the renovations for everybody in sub-2 that's doing co-living in Atlanta. He lives in Savannah, but he runs a construction company between Savannah. Does he live in Savannah or Atlanta? I'm sorry. He does stuff down in Augusta too. I'm sorry, not Savannah, Augusta. So he will do the renovations, and he owns his own series of PadSplit. Pat is freaking amazing, amazing resource. Also, Adam Catledge, who's buying in Atlanta, Georgia. He'll buy one of 5 that he looks at. The other 4 he sends to other members. Just get in a flow of other members sending you deals that they can't take on. Adam Catledge can't buy 5 out of 5. He can only buy 1 out of 5. Why? Because when you're buying a deal, you got to onboard it, get it going, do the renovation, da 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 da. I would just get in a flow of other members' deals, have Pat do the renovation, and have PadSplit run the management. Hey, she just got her first deal, $1.3 million, 3. ARV is 1.3 for the 3 houses, and they're all co-living. How much are you gonna make monthly? One is 8,000?
Yeah.
And what about the other 2? What about the other 2? Bro, Filipinos getting rich up in America. This is the American dream. The meetup tonight was in a very, very unique situation, meaning we were in a movie theater, which is good and bad. Rachel, what was the bad part about the meetup?
It was very hard to socialize.
Yes, I was just gonna say, it's when you've got seating and aisles and stairs and hallways, there's no main area to congregate. So even getting out of the meetup today was really challenging. But in a lot of ways, it forces people in really close quarters. It forces them to talk to each other. It really feels like an auditorium. So in an auditorium setting, it's not easy to make calls either. And so while we are sponsored by Jerry Norton's getwarmleadsdaily.com, we couldn't make calls today because everybody's up in movie theater seating and chilling. And so we turn it into more of a Q&A. And the style of Q&A I like doing is I like practicing my ability to dissect human beings. Do you ever watch what I do and go, how did that guy know that? Rachel doesn't care. She's not impressed by anything I do. It's why we keep her around. She's the one person not impressed by anything I do. It's amazing. Andre, do you ever go, holy crap, man, that was great advice?
Yeah.
I don't give generic advice. I hate generic advice. I want specific advice on every single personality type. And this is why you should come to these meetups. The creativenationtour.com is where you come out to the next 35, 45 locations. I don't know. I'm not keeping track. It's too many. But understanding all these individuals and how they participate with each other is an easy thing for me to see. I wear a different colored set of goggles, essentially, where I can see personality types and go, you and you should not work together. You and you should work together, and you should do this for that person. Man, what a cool freaking meetup. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We showed up there at like 5. That was like 3 hours of Q&A. Holy moly, this guy can talk. If you guys enjoyed this video, make a comment down below. Tell us what you want to see more of, and we will see you guys in our next stop, which is in Canada. Later.